Hey, so you're getting ready to head out for your first job. How exciting. Let's just go through a few of the processes that you'll be doing. So say this is the rig that you'll be taking out for the day. You'll either be supplied with the key on the inside of the office, or there will be a key located on the van for you to use. That'll vary over time. The first step of order that you'll do is see what jobs you have for the day after you've clocked in. So you either go into the office, check to make sure there's nothing you need to do inside the office, need to attend to anything before you head out for the day, grab your coffee, whatever that may look like. First thing you'll do is always clock in. You can do that through the app here on the customer factor. It's as simple as hitting that big clock in button. And now you're clocked in for the day. Once you're done for the day, you just hit the clock out button and you're all done. Easy as that. So after you've done that, you'll go to your calendars and assess what jobs you have on the schedule. Today, it looks like you've got a 1 p.m. out in Mount Juliet, and it looks like you've got a 3 p.m. in Spring Hill. With these times denoted, you'll have a time window. So the first set of business that you'll do is you will click on the job. You'll scroll down to the general notes, and you'll read what is on the to-do list. We've got a house cleaning, a porch, a sidewalk, and a driveway. You'll scroll down even further and make sure that all of that is properly put into the invoice. Excellent, everything looks good. So now you'll go back, you'll click the text message button, and you'll send a text message to the customer letting them know that you are en route. Then you'll go up here, you'll click on the Google button, and it'll pull up your Google Maps, and you'll be ready to go to the job. Looks like it's 45 minutes away, so we got a little bit of a commute. We'll give some time to listen to some of our favorite music. So that's part of the check-in procedure for getting ready to go for the day. Every day you'll have a checkout procedure to make sure all the vans are properly restocked and that you have everything, so when you come in the morning you're just able to rock and roll and get going. So ensuring that the gas is filled up on both the machine and the vehicle is important. Making sure that all your detergents are properly stocked, that you have spares of everything loaded in case the hose burst the day before or a trigger gun went bad on you. Then we'll have an end of the week procedure on Friday where we'll clean the exterior and the interior of the vans and the trucks, all of our rigs. That'll take care of all of those situations so that you're constantly ready to rock and roll and you're not having to stop out in the field because you forgot something. We'll go through all of those procedures, but it's just a good thing for you to keep in mind.
Let's set up for the job. So it's very important when you're setting up for the job that you, number one, pull up with the passenger side facing the house, and that you are less than 100 feet away from the house so you can plug up the water line. You may need to reposition the vehicle to adequately reach. All of our rigs have 100 foot of water hose and 200 foot of pressure hose. So you usually have enough to pull around the house with the pressure hose, but sometimes with the water hose we can't quite reach. In this situation we did have to park into the driveway to reach everything properly. That's always a last resort. We don't like parking in customers' driveways. Here I am checking the water flow. It's good to know how much water pressure we have so we don't run into issues. To disconnect the hose from the reel, all you do is pinch the hose and then you lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. You can see it right here. And I just tighten it right on there. Everything's backwards, so you gotta keep that in mind. It looks like I'm going to the left, but I'm actually going to the right. And water is a-flowing. Here is our chemical injector and the bypass. I'm making sure the injector is turned on and that the three-way valve is set to the pole from the house wash tank. You can see here it's properly flowing through the chemical injector, and the three-way valve is facing the vinyl hose that connects to the house wash tank. Unlock the reel lock. Pull out just enough of pressure hose so that I can set it down and not spray myself whenever I'm starting the pressure washer. Now I'm going to pull the choke out on the engine, make sure the throttle is all the way up, and we'll turn the key. She's a purrin'. We'll push the choke back in after it's warmed up a bit, and you're ready to go. So now I've turned off the ball valve so I can connect the trigger gun with the J-rod. I'm gonna go to the soap shooter, and we're going to start applying our house wash mix. Here's the J-rod, that's the soap shooter. Alright, you always start from the top and work your way down. Number 1, gravity. Number 2, that's just the right way to do it. If this was a vinyl house, you have to make sure you get up under the lip of all of the vinyl surfaces. With house washing, the soap part of the process should go very quickly. For an average house wash, it should take you 45 minutes, 15 minutes soaping, 30 minutes rinsing. Rinsing should always take twice as long. So here we are all applying soap to the entire outside of it. Brick very rarely gets dirty, so we don't have to worry so much about getting any chemical on it. However, foundation along the bottom sometimes does get dirty, so we need to clean that. I've now switched to the soap fan. Here I am shooting up high on the vinyl surface there. Gutters are usually the hardest thing to get clean, so sometimes they require 2 applications, and if you need to leave bleach on the gutters before you leave, that's perfectly fine. Do not leave bleach on windows or on vinyl, but on gutters, anything that's made out of metal, it's not a problem. Here I am just soaking everything, and then we'll just come through and rinse. So we soap from the top down and we rinse from the top down as well. When you're rinsing, you want to create a good water flow, and the water will help rinse for you. It's just like when you're rinsing concrete. You want to let the water work for you, not against you. So you start from the top, you hold it there for a while until it builds up a good flow, and then it'll all flow down. Here I am cleaning underneath the overhang of the porch. It's very important we get up in there. However, there's usually concave lighting on the porch overhang, so you have to be careful around that not to oversaturate the area. Otherwise you could short out the electrical and have one very unhappy customer. So I'm spraying off the front porch as well. That's always complimentary in our house washing packages. We don't actually have to pressure wash it because they rarely get dirty, but we just spray a little bit of bleach on there for them. Here I'm applying some more bleach to the exterior gutter because it was really dirty. And in preparation of any concrete cleaning that we're doing, it's a good idea to go ahead and soap now. So now I'm switching to the rinse shooter. That's a tighter nozzle. This is going to put out about 1,000 psi, so you have to be careful with it. It takes about 15 seconds for the bleach that's sitting in the line to wash out when you switch between tips. So right now there's back pressure on the chemical injector. The chemical injector is turned off, and we're just waiting for the bleach to rinse out completely, like it just has. And so now we know we have fresh water coming out and we can begin our rinsing process. That's a good trick whenever there's something really up high that you can't reach. Possibly it's pretty windy. You can switch from the soap shooter to the rinse shooter. It'll buy you about 10 more feet of extension, and you'll have about 15 seconds of soap coming out for you to be able to apply to a very high surface. So now I'm just going down and rinsing everything. Windows are the most important things to rinse. You got to rinse above them, just like I'm doing here, so that if any washes down on the windows, it's already fresh water above it as well. This is a very safe low pressure stream we're using here. I can put my hand in front of it, and we're just simply rinsing off all that soap from the windows so they're not nice and white speckled for the customer. Now that we're done with the house wash and everything is rinsed, I've turned the 3-way valve to the rinse cable, so right now I can feel the suction coming out of the 3-way valve. And now I'm just going to run some fresh water through the chemical injector to get rid of all that bleach that's sitting in there. Otherwise it'll start to corrode the chemical injector. You can see it soaping up. It's pushing out all of that bleach that's sitting in the chemical injector. So I'm waiting for the soap to pass so that I can suck some more fresh water through the chemical injector and keep flushing it out. This is very important to do every single day. Now I'm reeling up the hose. We're all done. Customer's all happy. We already did a walk around and collected payment from the customer. Now we're just going to reel everything up in preparation for our 5 rounds. I like to hold a rag when I'm reeling things up. Keeps the lines clean. It keeps your hand from lighting on fire. When you have a double connection like this, you want to lay it on a reel on an angle so that it doesn't take up much reel space. If you lay it straight, it'll keep the reel from properly reeling up. You see how I'm completely turning it sideways, so it lays at a 45-degree angle. With the water hose, you don't have to worry about that. You just reel it up as fast as you can. Here is an O-ring replacement. O-rings are what create a watertight seal between all of the metal pieces. All of our connections, all of the fittings have an O-ring, so if you ever see something leaking, if you ever have a crazy amount of water spewing out the connection, it's going to be an O-ring. There are two sizes of O-rings. There's a 1/4 and a 3/8. A 1/4 O-ring is used for all the trigger guns, all the wands, and 3/8 is used for everything else. There's a seat inside of there that the O-ring sits in. It's a little concaved area inside of the fitting, and here I am using a knife to push it into that area so it seats properly.